It's April the 1st. Today is known to some as April Fool's Day. I ain't no fool and nor are you. April Fool's Day is a time for playing practical jokes. Unfortunate joke victims are referred to as April Fools. I don't do funny, so know this now. I ain't joking when I tell you the horror truth of what happened to me years ago that's led me to share my experience in the hope the terror will stop. In the late 80s we had to move to Ireland. I'm not sure exactly why. I think it was because my father's mother was ill and he wanted to support and be near to her. I don't feel bad for telling you, she actually looked like Davros, the leader of the Daleks, seriously. Dad worked long hours and I hardly saw him, and Mum unfortunately was in and out of a secured unit. So in a way I was motherless. She always behaved like a young girl, which was really sad. But you know what, I was a strong character. I managed okay on my own. Back in the 90s, I wasn't looking to be scared, I wasn't looking for any trouble, and I wasn't interested in testing my mettle by how many nasty horror films can my eyes and young mind cope with. For me, life was about laughter, chasing pretty girls and watching VHS action videos. Simple, innocent and comfortable. A comfortable life, that's what I miss now. I remember that Saturday night like it was now and here. It was the end of April 1993, and in the video shop I was intrigued by a film cover, a very creepy film cover. This particular film was to everyone else a comedy horror, but to me, after hiring it, it was genuinely frightening. The film was called Leprechaun. Most people don't know the history of these evil, small-bodied men. A leprechaun is a type of mystical man-fairy, a degenerate fairy from Irish folklore. They're usually depicted as little bearded men wearing a hat and coat, and they spend their time mending and making shoes. And if they get captured by a fully grown human, they grant 3 wishes in exchange for their freedom. You see, they prefer to be alone, they don't socialise. Some say they're not really evil and they're not really good. Well, when I tell you what I've experienced, you'll understand that they are very dangerous and very real. And I hope you don't have to go through the pure fear I endured for all these years, since that Saturday night in April 1993. After watching the film, I remember I could not sleep. It was like the film left some bad energy in my home. And they say leprechauns thrive on their homeland. I remember as soon as the video store opened its doors first thing on that Monday, I returned the video, treating it like a used murder weapon that I have to bury. I felt weird guilt for hating an innocent, entertaining movie. After the film was returned, my world quickly changed. I felt like I was being forced down a narrow black painted iron spiral staircase to my own personal hell, and no one could help me. I could not stop thinking about the leprechaun. I couldn't concentrate. My girlfriend at the time was going to be my wife someday. She was the most beautiful girl in the world. But because I spent far too much time in my head on my own, not going out, my looks and personal hygiene got neglected, and my mental health dropped rock bottom. I don't care if you choose to believe what I'm about to disclose to you, but I know the truth, and that's all that matters. After I've been into hell, I don't care anymore. When you've lost everything, there's no advantage to lying or playing games. I got no time for it. There are people who believe if you constantly think of something, it can manifest in your head to the point you see it, you believe it. And I totally accept that, but I have proof I didn't manifest anything in my mind. I didn't capture that leprechaun from that film. A leprechaun captured me. Oh yeah, you heard me right there. And if you're quietly smiling, thinking you know how this is gonna roll, then think again. A month after I watched the Leprechaun film, that's when the real terror started. If I left the house to pop out to the shops, I knew someone was watching me. I could tell because of its smell. And then my personal stalker decided it wanted to get closer to me and started visiting me at night. I couldn't sleep because I knew he was sitting at the end of my bed, just sitting there, without any aggression or conversation. Oh wait, hang on a minute, he did tell me. He told me the same thing over 13 days. He kept on telling me at midnight that instead of granting me 3 wishes, he, the leprechaun, will decide them for me. The small leprechaun with his jacket and hat and his crinkled up face and his beady little eyes. Every night he would visit me. Look, I ain't no coward. I used to be pretty confrontational years ago. I wanted to tell him to leave me alone, but I couldn't. I couldn't open my mouth. I wanted to kick him off well away from my bed, but I couldn't move my body. This nasty little shoemaker had power over me during those dark hours. Remember when I said he chose my 3 wishes? Well, 3 months after watching the film, he threatened to harm my ex-girlfriend if I didn't join him for a drink. He made me drink whiskey at exactly 9 PM, and I don't drink any alcohol, and I drank so much. My body must have simply collapsed to the floor like a rag doll. That whiskey made me sleep like a baby. I woke up feeling very unwell 2 long days later. That gave him enough time to carry out my first wish that he decided. The first wish was for me not to ever run away from him. So during those 2 days he carefully removed my legs. I became the leprechaun's pet. He wasn't bothered about gold or pranking people. He was a next level super wicked mysterious leprechaun that managed to turn the tables on a human, on me. And he did all this because he knew I feared him. He smelt my fear when I witnessed that film. He was on the hunt and I became his next funny little joke. His second wish he made for me was that everyone I knew would simply forget that I existed. That way no one came knocking on my door ever again. I was so isolated. Weeks, months and years went by and my fear faded away. Over time, the leprechaun taught me how to make shoes and repair them. He opened up to me once, saying the reason he cut off my legs was because he wanted me to be closer to his own height. This is going to sound insane, but over the years we started to actually get on until now. I rely on him and he relies on me for friendship, I guess, but he admitted about forgetting to tell me the 3rd wish that he made for me all those years ago. He made me watch all the other Leprechaun films once a month for so many years, and he said to me some time ago that if they ever make a Leprechaun film with the word return in the title, he would let me have my freedom back. But on one condition. I'd have to beg people to buy it. And if I don't get enough people to buy the new Leprechaun film, I won't get my freedom. And he said he will have to remove my arms. So here I am on this wonderful thing called the internet, on this popular social media platform. I'm able to beg you to help save me from my life becoming even more restricted. buy the film Leprechaun Returns. The link is below, and hopefully, if enough of you do this, I'll keep my arms. I'll get my sanity back and I'll get my freedom, and you might even enjoy the film, so it'll be a win-win. Please don't laugh at me. And remember, when you go out and think someone is watching and there's a bad smell, don't hesitate to reach out to me, because I'll be the only one who will understand and believe you. Check out my other YouTube channel, Horror Film Reviews from the Clown.